What are they doing here? And then in the end, they just turned things around. We're like, oh my God, there they are. Thank you. Welcome back, guys. I'm still waiting for them. We didn't see a whole lot from them yesterday. Sure, they got some kills in the early game. But again, early game kills. That's complete contrast to what they were doing all of last week.
Yeah, and I think also it came down to some of the circles, right? We saw them had to go center based on where some of the circles went over them, for example. And that's not where they're in their comfort zone. They love to be on the edge. They would like to be one of the final teams rotating in. They love to be in a position where they can sit there and say, all right, you know what's going to happen now? We're going to come back and say, we'll just frag out and then come in with the placement points.
Yeah.
But this time around, when we looked at them yesterday, they were getting active where 14 teams live, 15 teams live, even at 16 teams live. Yes, sometimes you can't help that, but it's not their style of play, right? Exactly. They want to allow some of these fights to happen, jump in on a third party, and then once they start get going, that's when we see them strike. But too many times, it was twice, right, where they met up with Tornado. They
in the early game.
Rolled up on Tornado on the early game, and both teams never benefited from it, and both of them didn't have the best days yesterday. So Miramar is going to be quite interesting when it comes down to that, to see if both these teams can go back and say, wait a second, we are still here. Don't forget about us. We're on the score somewhere.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, speaking of that playstyle, playing the edge, running around out there, and finding your small loopholes in the end of things, arguably easier to do on Miramar than on Erangel. So maybe that just will suit them, at least for today in this group. It's going to suit them better on Miramar. But that also means that if they go back onto Erangel tomorrow and do the same performance that they had yesterday, they will need to get these points on Miramar in order to stay up there. We are seeing some of these teams sitting just below them, teams that are all the way out of top 8, getting wins, getting high kill games. And with still, let's do the math here, 12 games to go, if they don't start getting things together, sure, they're sitting in a somewhat comfortable third place right now. Things can quickly change, though.
And we've seen that time and time again, is that, yes, you feel like you're safe, and yes, there's only 3 days left within it, but it's 3 days of 4 games. And if there is one team that can come up and say, we will consistently be within the top 4, the top 6, as long as getting kill points with it as well, then they can jump back up. And what we've got teams all the way up until 12th, 13th place with 100 points already.
Exactly.
That's not actually that big a gap when you think it's only 1-7-1 for our first place in Tornado. So just 2 good games that come out of the bag of it. You're just 1 good day overall, and you can be jumping right up there to steal away someone's place potentially. And that's what makes it very interesting. And a team I really am enjoying following is PG18. We spoke about it on the opening week. Nail Up was a person I pointed out as saying, like, him as an individual is looking good. But now the team have even started to come alive. They're consistently up there within the top 8. I think the worst place they had yesterday was a 12th. And everything else was in top 8. And then they would manage to, not get as many kills. They're maybe not fragging out as hard. But they are able to play it successfully based on the rotations they end up with and how they actually want to maneuver as a unit, as a team in here. And I think the main thing I really want to stress for teams like that is, your teams that people probably did not expect to do so well, right? They underestimated you. And now you're just showing them why you cannot ever underestimate a team.
For sure. Nobody can be underestimated. And now we'll see here. Game number 1 is going to start with us here. We did see a whole lot of interesting circles on Miramar last week, and even more so on the final day. Crazy ones going all the way down to that small southern island. They're hoping for this group not to... not to have to go through those same experiences, because believe me, those groups and those circles, they were not to be taken lightly. Seems like Tony, Art of War, he's either he forgot to jump with his teammates, or nope, they're splitting extremely thin. I don't know exactly where Tony's going here, but his teammates have gone up towards Power Grid, and Tony is down in La Bandita. Not sure exactly what the plan is there. Maybe some thin stretching, and they'll see if they can get things going. It's gonna be a tricky task for him to find his teammates with Desperados in between them. But as we can see here, Se7en and Tarlans sharing the area of Los Leones for now, and then we have got Stella and For Us both over in the area of, I guess, just west of Picado there. Not sure exactly if that's going to up for confrontations or not, but you can see they are indeed landing with one another, and Circle is going down straight on top of them. So seemingly early on, no big issues. This could end up being a fight. You are seeing some damage done already as well. VG though, getting their loot game going here. Seems to me like them getting Impala for themselves is going to be all good and joy. But what will come of it, we'll have to wait and see as they start rotating.
PG already grabbing their vehicles and getting their skates on. They'll take this as an early opportunity to move around, and that's what you need in some of those places when it comes down to Miramar, right? It ends up being so crazy when we see there's just not enough room, or you have a huge rotation to make because of where the hills end up being, or you can't go through a certain city, for example, where if you don't rotate early, then you literally walk into 0 positions to fight from. And that's not what you ever want to be able to do. You kind of end up almost playing yourself that way.
Yeah. Gotta play it smart. And also, I mean, especially with this area of the map, we saw where that circle ended up. Now, it is only circle 1, but we can already kind of show and tell some of the things, some of the scenarios that could unfold. And that's, of course, what the players have to do, too. These circles will force players out into the open. There are compounds, but already with this first circle popping, for the most of it, we are in areas where if you don't have a compound, you're going to be in not big hilly areas where you can take cover, but well, most likely somewhere, somewhat flat areas where you can't get a whole lot of cover your way.
Now we got Shaxi. I guess he's maybe been spotted considering he's proned all the way down. Stella aren't too far away. Now, you remember this. It was Jambaway who went down early on in one of the games previously, and Stella was still able to win out the entire game. But they also kept losing players very early on, which is why overall they didn't have the best placements yesterday. So I think early engagements for Stella need to be avoided unless they're just going to be focused on keeping a full team fight into it in terms of trying to flush people out. Don't allow one player to just get away and end up potentially going down.
Yeah, I mean, we saw yesterday what Molman can do with a with an SKS. Had himself 9 kills in that first game. And, well, I mean, arguably, Miramar, pretty DMR favorite. So if you can get anything similar to what he did yesterday as far as hitting targets and getting kills, then it's going to be happy days for Stella.
You got Tornado at the moment just looting their way through El Pozo. And for Tornado, today is the day they need to bring it back to the same level we saw on the opening week here. It's not like they're doing bad. They're still in first place quite comfortably, but there are plenty of teams playing catch-up to them now, and that gap has certainly been shortened by quite a substantial margin. What was it, like a 30-point lead they had yesterday?
They were up by a lot, yeah, exactly. They were up by quite a bit. And now not so much anymore, just 5 points down to the guys in Desperados.
We take a look at how the current map is played out. So 3D Max down in the south. You've got Elgig and Quickmath just on the northern side of the circle. 4AK are not going to rotate in. They're usually one of the final teams to come in. Tornado, they are in and, well, working their way in. Example still got to come in with his teammate, but Art of War's nearby.
This circle, when we see it here, we got Los Leones in on the southeastern side, we got Chumatsira and the hills down southwest, we have the open fields in the middle, up towards La Bandida and Minas is really open as well, other than that one big crater and then the terrain of Minas itself. So a lot of different scenarios, I guess you can say, as we talked about just before, are in the minds of all the in-game leaders right now. What do we do here? We need to plan ahead. We're taking this position now. If it goes southwest, we go into the hills. What do we do with our cars? If it goes eastern, we go into the open. Do we keep cars? Do we start running? What's going to happen here?
And Silencer trying to pop a few shots off. They will be able to escape, but he's got the information now. We spoke about this before with Elgig, right? It was Hugstar who was the man going aggressive. And he was really trying to push out a bit, right? He was the one kind of engaging in fights, but maybe his team weren't ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's also an important thing, especially if you're an in-game leader. There are situations where, I mean, it doesn't have to be the in-game leader, but any player gets an idea and really, really, really wants to execute on it and starts the execution before the information has come across to the teammates. And that's as good as that idea may sound, and you kind of feel like, oh, they're supposed to be helping me, because if I get that idea, they should have it too.
Se7en have a new player. They've brought in a 5th.
Sadovnik. Yeah.
Interesting change-up. Is this just for Miramar? Is this because yesterday wasn't as what they were hoping? Is it because of an issue, maybe internet or something like that? And you never know, you might not be able to make today. But I like it. I like the changes. I'm always down to see what can happen in these scenarios. But then I also worry on the same factor. Like, you're used to having 4 players, right, the whole time. And then you quickly change it up and you think, well, wait a second. Have we just maybe lost a bit of an edge on us actual teamwork-wise just to try and get a few extra points? Because it's not like they're doing badly or anything. I guess yesterday was just maybe a bit of a shocker again.
Could be more, man. Talked about him just before. Put a DMR in his hand, and he will indeed start popping heads off. PG as well. Rotating on through here. D's played a long time in the CAS region now with the mixed team here. We talked about this as well. The amount of teams that are unsigned in Contenders that have a very good chance of making it through to the PEL, or at least to the finals, and have a chance at making their way through promotions. If you're an org out there, I mean, put your scouting goggles on and start picking and choosing, because believe me, there are indeed talent here that you do not want to let go to waste.
Yeah, certainly not. And that's what it's about, right? This is the prime time to look out for up-and-coming teams and players. And if you're some of the PEL teams who are potentially looking to make some changes, you'll turn around and say, well, wait a second. Can I nab some of these players that are standing out individually and bring them up into my team if they want to make a change?
That's the thing with Se7en. Great spotting by you, by the way. I didn't even notice that he was there, but then again, I was talking about other things. I'm trying to think who is not in. Is it Buster who's not playing today?
Yeah, Buster's not there.
Yeah.
We've got Krabbit, we've got Frank, we got obviously Se7en.
Yeah, Se7en as well. Huh. Interesting.
You know much about him?
About?
Se7en?
Not other than the fact that he's a very, very talented player. He used to play with M19 back in the day. As well.
Okay.
So I believe he's been with Navi as well. So he's been up there with all the big teams. And that is no Buster is there. I'm so confused.
Who did we lose?
who is that? Edelweiss.
Oh yeah.
Edelweiss ain't there. That's the guy we're missing.
So we're gonna have to message him afterwards and understand why this change came in. What's the reasons? Even before we've really gone too deep on this, right? And next game he's just back and he had internet problems with one game. And they were just like, bro, we need you to step in for this one game.
His bus was delayed. Cut him some slack, man.
Now Winside already putting a challenge on. And Winside is a team, right? When they breach compounds, it is just all-out war. Yeah. And Elgig already starting to fall back. Huckster out in the open. A few shots come towards him. He will be able to get away and get Savage nearby. But they are pinned down in the sense that this is a 4v2. Nelos has got a great position and he can provide a lot of information here, but he has to hit these shots. And it's not going to be easy ones to be able to take here. As Gifted Rouge will be the first one going down. The boom. He spots out Nelos at the top and says, hey, you may be able to try and pressure us here, but we'll be able to fire back ourselves. But at the same time, Quickmath and Swarm are looking at this and they can hear what's going on and they probably want to get involved.
We can see here they have to make that run on back. Now nades are coming in. Hoakstar will go down. Out of one, 4 have found each other as well. But honestly, I mean, I gotta give kudos to Winside on making this aggressive play. They spotted the 2-2 split and they pushed on it. Now then it's all pushing on and he's gonna go down. Savage actually gets himself a double there. What a clutch play coming in from Savage to save the day, at least for now. Moon is still up, but that could be a full team wipe going in the favor of Elgiganten.
They pressured Savage from 2 different angles, and he was still able to get those kills. A beast mode performance from him. He can still try and revive Hugstar here. Deegs is up as well. And Moon's just trying to run away. Shots coming out towards him. He's going to barrel down the hill in the car, but he'll just be able to run for now. Tarlans, they're back under pressure. This time from PG-18. They're getting in their cars and trying to make some tracks, but it's going to be very hard as Moon eventually goes down. A nade goes out towards him. Deeg's able to get the job done, so Winside will go out in 16th place. Not the ideal start for them.
And look at Desperados. They found a rotation as well. 2 players gone down early. Coltamenta gets himself a double off of the vehicle explosion. And now Moonlight will have to just, well, continue his journey across the wastelands as a lone soldier. A lone cowboy, maybe more.
That was crazy for Winside. Looking so strong, and then all it took was Savage to just be pure beast mode with it. Oh, Moonlight. Yes, that's one way of getting it in. He's like, don't want to have to go over it. I know.
That's a rotation, yeah. Almost killed himself with it too, but does stay alive for a little while longer.
It's the style points that count most here.
Circle 2 did pop, and we did go more Cinder.
Yeah, we ended up with quite a fair overall circles here.
Yeah, so it's centering up. It's excluding part of Los Leones. We can see that if you're watching the map stream as well. Of course, you can see that too. But we're excluding part of Los Leones, and well, I mean, for the most part of it, we're going out into the open. There are compounds around Picado on the southwestern side of Picado as well, but from Picado down towards Los Leones, there really ain't a whole lot to play for, or play around. I mean, there are a few compounds here and there, but with so many teams still alive, should the next circle go down in that direction, that's going to be an extremely scarce area. We've had these things happen before, James, where we see the center point of an early circle be in a valley or in a crater or anything like that, and that's when we see teams just wipe really early on in the game.
Now 3D Max, we talk about them quite a lot because when it came to phase 1, certainly a team that started off slow, then came into it, looked a lot better. But we have not seen much from them here so far. It's getting scary on their overall position.
I'm still curious as to what Tony Sosa is doing out east of La Bandida and why he even jumped out there to begin with. Because it seemed like the team had a pretty good idea. They wanted to go towards Power Grid. Maybe have been him accidentally pressing F when he didn't want to or something and then kind of just having to make the best of it. But he's out in the blue now, far out east. And, well, I mean, he's by himself, but another player that's by himself, that's Moonlight right here on your screens. He's, I mean, I guess his disadvantage is there's no hope of teammates coming to save him because he's all by himself.
All right, we go a little bit more over towards the east. This is actually going to benefit Tony. So you were just talking about him. Tony was like, I knew this all along. Not a problem
just come to me. Easy peasy. Just come over to me. We've had endings here so many times before. Desperados, Talsera sitting dead in the center here. It's a very big crater that compound is down, and you want to take control of those sides all the way around. If the next circle continues to shrink in towards that area, it's going to be open, and it's going to be difficult for these players to find any place to lay low.
Trying to land some shots long range here against Fake. And a little peekaboo battle. Not easy to land these at this kind of distance. He's got the 8 times on it. One shot will be connected. But this won't really benefit anyone. No one's going to be able to like get a kill off of this. It's just going to be a, oh, you've been knocked potentially. Then you drop back down, heal up, get yourself ready. Someone revives you, yada, yada, yada.
Interesting thing with this new shift, though, is that the entire southern side, where you would see people rotate through and make their way into the other side of the circle, that's Los Leones, so that's blocking off a lot of the rotation paths coming in. Same thing going north. Elgiganten, they're trying to make their way down, which you guys might be able to see in your map screens, but map streams. But there's really not a whole lot of room to rotate around. You can see 3D Max on the map stream right now. They're going all the way around Los Leones. That is going to take them a lot of time, and even though it's early on, if that next circle goes back west, that's going to be a lot of time wasted for, well, for nothing.
They're taking a risk to try and stay alive up in it. For us, playing it smart, Shakti can do the damage to the cars, try and hinder the rotation here. Spots out Memo and lands the headshot as well, Shakti. Not only doing the damage to the cars, but also to the heads of the Art of War players.
Good shots coming in right there, Memo, trying to... well, figure out what their next strategic move is going to be. It's going to be a tricky one. Tony is caught off on the eastern side, as we said before, and I believe they already lost one player as well. So they have a pretty difficult situation to deal with. Yep, Rip has gone down already. And, well, I mean, now they're just 2 guys sitting in Picado, and it's barely inside the circle.
So, you know, you said about 3D Max rotating all the way down south in the blue and coming up just above Los Leones. We've also got Tornado Energy doing the same thing, coming up close behind them as well. Now, this is where that side, everyone gambling over towards the east, is going to be so clustered. You've got VG, PG, Art of War, Swarm, 3D Max, and Tornado Energy, and there's not enough room to house that many teams.
Not at all. The whole center point of this new circle is just in a really, really open wasteland. It's a, well, I mean, it's a crater on one side. It's a big field with one compound in the middle on the other. So really tricky to play around should this circle send up. And pretty much, honestly, pretty much wherever you go in this circle, it's going to be difficult to play through. Now, Art of War making their way in towards the motel. And seems like Moonwolf sitting upstairs don't want their company. Wow.
And everyone that went over goes, this is going to be difficult.
Not only do they have to cross the road where PG is sitting right now, but they're going into a crater. You can see Tausera is sitting down there all by himself, and at this point he's got to be thinking, guys, can we maybe send one guy down here? Because I think there's going to be people coming my way real soon. Everybody's traversing in towards the center of the circle, and there's just not a whole lot of stuff to play for. Honestly, you have the compound out east, but that's about it.
So obviously Tausera has a compound to work from. Is it worth them all grouping up, or are they going to go for a 2-2 split here for it? Because, like you said, there's not many options they've got. You're not going to be able to get that one east. Not anytime soon when you've got so many teams around him.
The thing is, as good as that compound is in the center of the circle, if you get pinned in there and the circle goes away from you, there's no way in the universe you're escaping. Like, there's no way you're... That's the last resort kind of compound to go to. That's why they only have Tausera sitting down there, because they know the priority compound is the one on the western side. So it's a perfectly obvious split they're doing. It's just very difficult for Tausera to move anywhere.
Stella under pressure. Jamboe's died out to the zone. He's going to be taking extra damage now. Yak was already taken out as well. Kaz stuck fighting in the blue. Busters keep him on lockdown. And he just can't move anywhere. Moleman's further away, but they're all going to struggle. It's too much damage being had here.
Trying to hold off still. I don't see Cass or Moleman making an escape from this one. They're both on their feet. They would have to make the rotations far time ago. And we talked about it before. People wanted to make those southern rotations. Well, Moleman here on foot now in the blue, getting shot at, and he's going to go down. There's no risk coming in there, and they can see, well, you know what, we ain't going to spend more time here either.
Kaz actually managing to headshot him through the smoke a little bit there. Moleman will go down. Kaz tries to come out. He goes for the run. He goes for the charge, but he's going to just go out to his due.
Getting kills on the edge. Welcome back. Se7en, that's what we've been expecting you guys to do, the style we've been wanting you to embrace. But now the thing becomes, where do they move from here? There's not a whole lot of them to go for.
And that's the problem, right? You spend a lot of time keeping them at bay, but wherever you run now, there are multiple teams in that direction.
Yeah,
as we're seeing here, Moonwolf. They're going to be put under pressure, and they're going to get nades thrown out towards them for us, keeping it going. They should be able to try and res Metralius. It might be too much now, though, and yeah, he's just going to go down.
It's down and out. VG being taken down now by PG as well. Naleb is trying to crawl back down so he can potentially get rest at some point, but for now, the guys will hold strong. Moonlight does eventually go down and out. That's going to be Tarlans out in 14th place. Shaxi goes down 2 for us. Get eliminated early, and now Desperados. They already got those 2 kills in Tarlans early, and this could be the chance to rack up some more. Keep in mind that Salcero is far split off from them.
Blue trying to take down Sadovnik, and they're fighting through this tree. There's just a small pixel and a gap to fight from. Art of War have also gone down in 12th now. Vinco in 11th.
Yep, Ripped couldn't stand it any longer. Unfortunately for him, Vinco out too. So that's going to be the majority of the edge teams down. We talk about this. I mean, there are 38 players alive, just 18 minutes in, and the center point is still completely open. Right now, everyone's hugging the edges, and that's why you see so many confrontations happening.
Se7en under pressure. We said about how much room they didn't have to work with multiple players now going down, and PG are delivering it to them. We go over towards the west, so anyone that went east is going to be less than happy now, and they're going to have a big run to make in. Desperado still going to be feeling pretty comfortable with this, and Se7en and PG, they're going to just be fighting it out still in this southern area. And look at their nades. They start to come out, and they can do so much damage. PG are down in like their own miniature crater here, and Se7en have a huge advantage on it. 2 knocks coming straight away. Only 1 more to find in Nalab. He is prone down, but there's extra bullets coming from Desperado. So Se7en, they can't be too far out in the open.
I was just going to say, as good as that trench looked for Yannick as far as cover, it also becomes the Nate magnet, and just bounce off the sides and roll down on his feet, and that's exactly what happened. Naleb now, of course, wants to get some sort of resing up towards his teammate, but 1 nade could finish them off. You can see those out of Nick, and the guys, they need to make that run on down because Desperado's applying the pressure from the side.
And so they're going to allow these reses to come in, which is fair enough. That can be something that works out.
4 reses coming in too.
But that is now the blue already going to start to come in. It's going to cause them a bit of a problem. And they're just going to be kind of fighting again from the other side of the circle. And this time they're both Desperado and Se7en shooting at them. There's no key from 3D Max. They're the ones that took the long rotation over Los Leones in. They had Tornado energy in front of them, and Tornado actually managed to get further ahead now into it, but they're going to be fighting out consistently from this point onwards, and it's only 2 3D Max players left alive.
Yeah, Fake gets knocked here. We saw Salcero go down just before as well, so that means the compound in the open, the only compound left remaining, is actually completely open and available. But as we said before, once you go down there, odds are you won't make it out alive, and all these teams now trying to make their crosses on over. Frank and Buster are already over there. Sadovnik didn't quite make it that far, and I do not think the last remaining player from PT will either. Naleb by himself does get a knock onto Buster.
Naleb is able to pull these kind of feats off, but it may have been too much. He's also got Desperado shooting at him, and Calvin Klein will finish him. That's all of PG out in 9th.
Good spray down coming from Savage there. Hogstar does get finished off, but 5 kills for Elgiganten, stepping up. As we see right here, trying to see if they can get themselves some more kills. 3 guys remaining, and they're playing it smart. They're taking their time, and you can see Nails, he's the one on the side. Do not allow for anyone to push around you.
Swarm find themselves getting eliminated now. They've been sat on this eastern side for so long. The Tornado proved too much for them. Now, Elgig, remember, they nearly went out. It was Savage that saved them with that 2 amazing kills that came up towards him.
Deeks here trying to hold off the entirety of 4 AK. Nate's coming in towards him as well. Northwest made his way on up. Follow that Nate spot where it goes. You don't want to get hit.
Don't roll back on me.
Good reaction play, honestly, to turn around and see where it is. But the second one goes straight to his face. Oh, Deeks, that's just unfortunate.
He did his best, considering how many nades came out towards him. And the thing is, right, on Miramar with the terrain, you have to look where this nade's going. Because you can quite easily hit the top of a hill and just roll back and you go, wait, no.
And look at where the circle goes. Quickmath currently the only team out of 7 remaining inside this circle. They're sitting well in it. They've had the luck a couple of times with those circles, and now they're getting it once more.
Tornado now jumping into this Elgig versus 4AK fight with nades, and they've got the high ground to shoot from, but they're also the furthest away.
Yeah, Tornado, they're completely trying to pin them down, but also they have moved to make them not inside the circle either. And as you can see, Melman is trying to do that because they are on an open plateau up top, and they need to make some room for themselves before they're eventually run over. Nix, these does get down one, but he's going to go down in return, and this is going to be Elgiganten out in 7th place.
Elgig 7th place. Not too bad, all things considered, especially how their start went when it was nearly game over for him.
Gotta give kudos to 4AK, though, not losing a single player in that entire confrontation. They had a win yesterday, too, and we talked about some of these teams that have a chance to make their way up. Well, I mean, this very much could be theirs.
They're certainly going to be looking for it here as Tornado Melman. He's made some noise. Northwest seems to have an idea of it. Comes down to timing, spraying it out, does land the headshot, but can't get the knock in just yet. Melman very low on health. He comes around the side, and that's beautifully done there by Northwest. But in the meantime, he finds himself getting knocked out by Kofest, who's going to go in for the potential finish off here. Ronnie just to the other side of that smoke. And he can't see it fully. Now he does. You see it come on. The X-ray makes us see a lot more than what these players can see, and Tornado find themselves going down.
Desperado's under tons of pressure on the small screen you saw there as well will go down to Moonwolf. Somehow, despite them getting caught in the motel down by the Picado a little while back, does manage to prevail on that one, stays alive with 2 players up, and now we're down to just 4 teams.
7 have still got Buster and Frank, but they're out in the open, and Buster, he needs to find some cover. Luckily, Misse loses a lot of those shots to him, and it's almost unacceptable. It's not the greatest of range. He should have been able to land that, but the pressure proved too much. A nade will go out, though, and Buster, how are you going to avoid that one? Luckily, it pops a little bit too early.
Misse misses some shots. I don't know. No, but that's unfortunate, of course. You never want to have that happen, especially because, oh, well, the nade came in the end, so it didn't really matter too much. But you never want to leave a player like Buster sitting around there with a chance to shoot back towards you.
And Frank's just too far away.
Yeah, there's no way he can help. Misa goes down, though, was aggressive and trying to get the finish off it. Now they start losing players because of it.
4AK, they're just shooting from the top of the mountain, and they're able to do so much. Quickmath didn't even know what hit them. That was done in seconds.
They got greedy. They wanted to get the flashes, and they came to cast them and left themselves completely exposed on the hilltop, and 4AK and Moonwolf were just waiting for that to happen.
4AK looking for their 3rd win overall if they can get it done, and they are the only team with 4 players left alive. There's 2 for Quickmath, 1 for 7, and 2 for Moonwolf. And also 4AK know where everyone is. The only thing 4AK has to do is get inside the circle.
That's not going to be the toughest task at all, because 2OU will be all by himself trying to hold them off, and I don't think he's going to take any aggressive stance against them at all. Only 2 kills for Quickmath, despite them getting the circle. Didn't get a whole lot of kills with it, but that's normally sometimes the way it goes.
Yeah, it's all too familiar saying when we're looking at how this goes down.
Frank Harrio still alive. Or just Frank, I guess. Just chilling by himself. Staying put. Trying to grind some placements.
Frank is just waiting for these other fights to go out, but when he has to move is going to be the most interesting part. Would they have forgotten about him by then?
I don't know if anybody even knew he was there. I mean, everybody spotted Buster, right? Running around and being naded and whatnot, but he's been proning down there for a while.
So before he went into that fight with Bust, he was taking some shots, but he may obviously move since he's made them.
Yeah. Yeah, because see Moonwolf, they're looking in the direction our nades are coming into. Yeah, he's not.
Frank's like, just die out. Yeah. There we go.
Gonna go down. Moonwolf secures the kill. And Moonwolf sitting in 9th place coming into this game, too. That's a really, really important one for them. I believe they're just 6 points out of top 8.
This is 4AK's game to lose here. Avoki managing to land the shot onto Ensalenso. Won't find him getting knocked down just yet. 2OU is running in front of him, and he's looking to play it in style. He's got the 6 times ready for it as well, so distance is not going to be a problem. And Ronnie, he's going to start it off. First knock comes in. Ensalenso is all alone. There's no way he's going to be saving his teammate.
Yeah, he's going to go down and out, that's for sure. Moonwolf trying to get a little third party in there. And Ronnie does go down. Akko and Washout. There's a chance. It's not a big one, but it's there.
That was a big shot, though. That was a play. The headshot comes in. Ronnie, he can't even fight back against it. 9 kills already, though, for 4AK. And remember, they started off at Le Cobria. That means they've had to come all the way down from the north to fight into this position. So it's not been easy for him. And now Havoki's going to move forward. He's going to go and try and flush out the final Quickmath player because he's well aware of where he is.
I was going to say, is he though? Because I think what he's looking for right now is all the Moonwolf players on the top. I don't think he knows for a fact that he's down there.
He should know. Wow, did take some shots.
Holds off too.
Moonwolf up at 10 kills now. They're fighting it off against 4AK. This is a really solid hold. How are they allowing this much damage to be done? Northwest needs to be able to deliver some help for his teammates here, because otherwise they are going to get completely flushed. We said this was their game to lose, and there is a great potential in this going against them. You see Havoki gets himself healed up just a little bit, but is it going to be enough? He's trying to back himself back down the hill.
Orko completely annihilated those two players up by the shack. Got perfect timing on the peak there, got himself a double, and that just opened up everything for Moonwolf. Not only do they have a chance, but they also have the high ground position, but Northwest from behind helps out Havoki and keeps him alive for at least for a little while longer. We do still, though, have Ensalenso on the bottom side, and neither of these two teams are focusing on him right now.
Havoki needs to try and push for this if he can. Yeah. Do not allow this res to come in. This is your chance to get the job done. They're both moving up together, which is super smart. He does end up dying out as well. Orko isn't able to stand strong. Washout on his own. The nade comes out quite close towards him. Ensalenso's watching this all go down at the same time. He's well aware that he might be able to sneak into second place and potentially take it if he finds the right time to strike.
That's the thing. You got to really be wise about it. Ensalenso, he's not even got a small cam anymore. Now he has the big one. Trying to see if he can stay put here. 2v1v1, and then Ensalenso knows where everyone else. All he has to do is avoid the confrontation.
Ensalenso chilling on the side. He is going to go in though and finish off Washout. That's an extra kill that they desperately would have wanted here. But now his position's 100% known, and it's a 1v2 that he's going to have to play in style. There can be no missing of these key vital shots. He takes the first few, isn't able to make him connect, and now he needs to just be able to duck and dive and play the really smart mechanical game on how you move around here.
Maybe shot a bit too early, because they were still sitting around and looking for where he could potentially be, but now he exposed himself and know exactly where to expect him. And as you can see, Havoki just looking around those ridge lines there. But as you can see here, it's also only hits, and Ensalenso take a big one to the upper chest. Only one first aid remaining. He does have one nade, but this is going to be really hard. Next shot to the chest could potentially be a knock coming in, or finish off coming in, I guess.
Yeah, no knocks for Ensalenso. He can dream of knocks coming in, but he's the one that's going to have to deliver the knocks onto 4AK. Quickmath snuck into second place when the odds were certainly stacked against them. 4AK probably going to kick themselves the fact they allowed Orko to run over him in the way they did, because this has really made it a lot more difficult for this team.
For sure. Ensalenso throwing smokes on forward, wants to have a chance to make a move. Circle's going to start closing in real soon, and it has to go center, of course, with this final dot being what we see. And I mean, he's going to have to make a run forward.
Really deep nades. Ooh. Hits himself the first shot, can't connect it into a headshot though. Both players shooting at him. The smoke is providing minimal cover, but he's trying to use it to his advantage any way he can.
Takes the Scar with a 4x. Spots out one, gets damage applied as well. That's going to be him forced to heal up.
And that will keep him busy, right? That means time's going to be delayed. Havoki round the side. He gets the job done. 11 kills there for 4AK. But honestly, you would have expected them to get more had they not lost out so much there to the Moonwolf side overall.
Indeed. I mean, the way that Ensalenso played that one in the end was really good as well. He held that bottom angle all the time up until that very last point where Havoki actually does decide to go down there. Really, really well played by Ensalenso and trying to stay put for as long as he could. But still, second place for Quickmath.